8-year-old camera. This thing is an absolute beast. A6000, I think it was released about February 2014. We're gonna be putting this up against the A7IV again by popular demand because a lot of you guys were like, yeah, let's compare it during the night because that's when you'll see the differences when it comes to photography. We've still yet to do a video with the video comparing the video specs of the A7IV and the A6000, which I'll grab the A7IV.
Yeah, the A7IV is just, it's one of my favorite cameras because the image quality is just crazy when it comes to videos and photos, but this is a brand new camera against the A6000. It's full frame as well, 13 megapixel full frame versus 24 megapixels APS-C, 8-year-old technology versus pretty much 1-year-old technology. I'm super excited for this video.
This is going to be an interesting video and it is brought to you by Storyblocks. So thank you Storyblocks for bringing this video to you guys so you can see this. Obviously Storyblocks is that all-in-one platform where you can get videos, stock photos, plugins, all those kind of things. More on Storyblocks later, but you are actually watching this on the A7R5. So this is the brand new Sony camera that has released. It's a photography beast, it's a video beast. You probably would have seen the video a couple of days ago. I've got more videos coming. Should I compare it against the A6000 when it comes to photography? That'll be an interesting video if there is a big difference between 8-year-old camera versus the brand new A7R5, which is a photography 61 megapixel beast. Yeah, maybe I should do that. But let's get into this video. Today we're gonna be going down to the Gold Coast, doing a photo shoot with Joanna. Fabulous model that always helps me in my YouTube videos when I need some content done, and obviously help her out because sometimes she needs content as well. So let's put the A6000 up against the A7IV, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments below what you think is camera A and what you think is camera B, and the reasons why. And obviously, I think there's going to be a bit of a difference between these two cameras. Obviously, it's the age and it's the autofocus, the low light performance, full frame versus APS-C, the lenses, all those kind of things, but it's usually a lot closer than you actually think, especially with YouTube compression. Instagram, if you're posting it on Instagram, you probably won't notice too much of a difference, but this is going to be interesting. So let me know, and yeah, let's head down the Gold Coast. We've got Joanna here again. Say hello.
Hi.
It's like last time you're like, what's your name?
Joe! Joe!
Where can we find you?
Instagram mainly, and TikTok, but I never really use it.
TikTok. All right, so we're going to be doing some low light sort of things today in terms of photography because you guys asked for it from last video, and we've got the pretty model doing her thing. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is just a little bit of a warm-up between camera A and camera B. You probably just have to notice that, you know, depth of field is going to be different, resolution is going to be different, but these are at ISO 100, not testing low light yet, but we'll move into the next scene where the sun starts to go down a little bit. It's a little bit rainy, so we'll be testing ISO 320, 640-ish, and then we'll start to test a little bit higher. So just a quick tip when it comes to using shutter speeds with these kind of cameras is that if you have an 85mm focal length, on this camera, you want to try and potentially match that focal length with your shutter speed. So if I'm shooting on an 85mm lens, I'll probably put my shutter speed at 1/100th of a second and generally higher, because when you press that shutter, you're going to be shaking the camera just a little bit and you may get blurry shots. So, you know, on a general rule of thumb, 1/100th of a second or higher when it comes to that. Same with this, you know, at least 1/50th of a second. I would still prefer similar, 1/100th of a second, so try and go higher than the focal length. Now, this lens has OSS. This lens doesn't have OSS, the 85, but the body has IBIS, whereas the A6000 body doesn't have IBIS. So very similar stabilization. They do obviously work different. Lens stabilization, in-body stabilization. But yeah, having that shutter speed a little bit higher than your focal length is a really good tip to sort of add to your arsenal. And yeah, hopefully you'll get some nice non-blurry shots. Now, before we get into the really low light test, we're going to be talking about our sponsor for today's video, Storyblocks. Now, Storyblocks gives you a massive library of over 1 million royalty-free footage, templates, music, photo assets, as well as the easy-to-use video editor and unlimited downloads. It has all the stocks you need, high quality video and templates, audio, sound effects, images, and illustrations. It also has the new plugin for Adobe Premiere Pro. This is amazing because this helps video creators make videos faster by allowing you to search in Premiere Pro itself. So you can actually search, download straight into the library and drag and drop into specific bins. That is amazing. There's over 1 million of these royalty-free stock assets that you can put into directly Premiere Pro. The plugin minimizes all the disruptions and the creative flow, like checking, you know, all the licensing terms and switching between the projects and internet browsers, all those kind of things, and allow you to do the best thing possible, and that is creating. So thank you Storyblocks for sponsoring this video for you guys to see, because there is much more content and I really love these series of the A6000 versus the A7IV, and hopefully we can bring more of these videos because of sponsors like Storyblocks. And obviously click the link in the description below or just use Storyblocks/Jason Morrison. That helps me out and obviously helps you guys out to get access to Storyblocks. But let's get back into the video on this awesome low light performance. So the shots that you just saw went up to pretty much as high as ISO 6400. Now that was pretty much ambient lights, no lights used. We even did a couple of shots with 2500, but I put my regular key lights slightly less. And you can actually see a color difference. Obviously the color science between the A6000 and the A7IV is, it's night and day in my opinion. Like the A7IV has brilliant color science when it comes to photography. Skin tones look great. You can still get great colors out of the A6000. You just have to tweak it just that little bit more, and you don't have as much information to work with. But this next situation that we are going to have a look at, and you probably will see the difference because there's so much street lamps and ambient lights we're trying to work against, and the A6000 did struggle. But which one is camera A and which one's camera B? You still let me know in the comments below, and the reasons why you think which one is. Is it hard to tell? Like in your opinion, is it actually hard to tell? So let's have a look at this last scene.
last scene, this is the interesting one. This is essentially where Joanna was facing this way and the autofocus with the A6000 was actually hitting her shoulder. It really just couldn't identify her face. Her face was still nice and lit because I actually had that key light right in front of her, so it's more side light compared to where I was, but it really just tried to want to lock onto her shoulder majority of the time, whereas the A7 IV was just smack bang on her eye pretty much the whole photo shoot. I mean, sure, if she was turned a little bit, it would lock onto her face, but it would be in that general area, whereas the A6000, this was probably the one scene where it sort of struggled a bit. It hit her shoulder and it really couldn't find focus, but that's probably the biggest difference between these is that focusing motor and just the technology that's in the newer Sony cameras. It's not really anything to do with APS-C versus full frame. The technologies there are just so close and so similar when it comes to new age APS-C versus new age full frame. It really just depends on look. And if you're trying to get that depth of field like a full frame, essentially you just push a little bit further forward and you're gonna get depth of field that's completely different. The focal lengths won't be the same, but you can still get really great depth of field with APS-C cameras. But what are your overall thoughts? Obviously, camera A was the A7 IV. Now, you probably guessed it. I'm not sure if you did. It's not 110% noticeable, but it's just interesting that the A6000 still does an incredible job even in low light photos. When it comes to videos, that's probably a different story, and that's something that we will test in another video, and I'm pretty excited to actually do that. I really want to personally see what the difference is and see if I can actually make, the A6000 quite good. But yeah, guys, camera B, obviously, A6000, camera A, A7 IV, congratulations to whoever picked it, but the real winner is technology. Sony are doing some great things from all the way at the start, all the way to now. So, the A7R5 has now dropped that you're seeing right now. This is all the A7R5. It's incredible camera. I just think Sony are doing some great things. Canon's doing some great things. Fuji's doing some great things. It's just, we are so lucky to live in a world today where the technology is so good when it comes to content creators. It's just, I love it. It's great. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, that would be absolutely amazing. Thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. The link will be in the description below if you do want to check out Storyblocks. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's get it.